The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. U.S. President Joe Biden has announced that he will seek a second White House term in 2024. In his first public speech after launching his 2024 candidacy, Biden told union workers that there's a lot more to work to do in leading America, and he wants to finish the job. Biden also vowed to protect American liberties from extremists linked to former U.S. President Trump, who he beat in 2020 and might face again in 2024. Biden, who is 80 years old, likewise promised to address economic issues hounding the country, like debt and inflation.
It's time to finish the job. Finish the job. But also, Thank you. Folks, we got a lot more work to do, though. I know folks are also struggling with inflation. The pace of inflation has been coming down now for 9 months in a row, but there's more to go. It's slowed by 45%, but we have more to do.
The World Health Organization flags the seizure of a laboratory amid the fighting in Sudan, saying it posed a, quote, high risk of biological hazard. The WHO says one of the warring parties had taken control of a national health facility which stores measles and cholera pathogens for vaccinations. It is unclear whether the military or the paramilitary had captured the lab. According to the WHO, lab technicians were unable to gain access to the lab to safely contain the biohazardous materials. The clashes in Sudan, though east, continued despite an ongoing but shaky truce, with 14 attacks on health facilities reported since the fighting erupted. Israeli staged protests ahead of the country's Independence Day in the wake of a judicial crisis. Various artists sang along with Israeli figures, reading parts of the Israeli Declaration of Independence. Israelis have been protesting against plans by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to push through curbs on the judiciary. These include enabling the parliament to effectively overrule the decisions of the Supreme Court. Israelis who took to the streets believe that this is an existential threat to the country's democracy.
Could be like the very last Independence Day as we know it. Next year it might be completely different. There might be like different rules or restrictions. And I think when they try to change the country, no Independence Day is the same.
First of all, I'm fighting for the bit of democracy that we do have here, which is still a very, very big lot that I do want to save. And I always want to remind people of the other half.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. At least 2 women were killed and 10 other people were injured after a Russian missile struck a museum in the center of the eastern Ukrainian city of Kupiansk. Rescue workers dug through mounds and rubble to retrieve the bodies after the local history museum was hit by what Ukrainian authorities say was a Russian S-300 missile. In a Telegram post, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calls Russia a terrorist country that is doing everything to completely destroy Ukraine. Russia did not immediately comment on the attack. Kupiansk, which had a pre-war population of 26,000, lies in the Kharkiv region. It is an important rail hub that was occupied by Russian forces for months after they invaded Ukraine in February of last year.
Я буквально там декілька днів тому в єдиних новинах казав, що ситуація трошки змінилася в плані тому, що обстрілів стало менше. Але, на жаль, сьогоднішні обстріли вони доводять, що заспокоюватися ще зарано, оскільки лінія фронту тут буквально від нас 8 кілометрів напряму, якщо говорити.
The death toll at a ranch in Kenya climbs as authorities exhume more bodies from land owned by a pastor who convinced followers to starve themselves to death. Authorities exhumed 17 more bodies from the 320-hectare land, bringing the death toll of the cult to 90 amid expanded operations. The total number of those rescued while starving, meanwhile, now stands at 34. However, the Kenya Red Cross Society says there are over 200 more missing people. Kenya's Interior Ministry vows that the security team will upscale search and rescue missions to save as many lives as possible. The minister also said there would be a turning point on how the country handles threats caused by religious extremism. British pop star Ed Sheeran arrives at a court in New York for the copyright trial involving one of his hit songs. The plaintiffs are the heirs of Ed Townsend, a musician who co-wrote Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. They allege that there are striking similarities between the 1973 classic and Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud. Sheeran's attorney said the structural symmetry points only to the foundations of popular music. The trial for the 2017 lawsuit is expected to last up to 2 weeks in the Manhattan Federal Courtroom.
I'm here for justice, protecting my father's intellectual properties, and all I'm expecting is his name to be honored and his work and his legacy, and the fact that I want all artists' intellectual properties protected by the individuals who oversee our royalties.
And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I am Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.